Alright, so seeing how he wants to name his stand-up, let me explain and what all of that. So Kevin Hart, let me explain and let me break down to you, at least from my point of view, what the issue here is. I've wanted to do this video for quite some time on Kevin Hart, but to be quite honest, I don't care about him enough to really sit down and take the time to do all of this. But fine, you want to know what? He wants to go on his little rant yesterday. So I said, you want to know what? You see how I got time today? I got time today. So what's up? What's happening? So if y'all do not know, there was an article yesterday put out. I believe it is because I have the article up. And I read the whole article as well. From, I believe, is it the New York Times? Yes, the New York Times, okay? They did an article with Kevin Hart because I think he's coming out with like a Netflix. I don't know if it's like a movie or a show, but it's called Fatherhood or whatever, right? So, okay. What most people were upset about from the article, I'm going to talk about some of the things that stood out to me in the article, but what most people are mad about is within the article, he pretty much was saying how like, he pretty much doesn't really give a fuck about cancel culture. He doesn't really think it's necessary. He doesn't like it. He also made a few brief statements about, how he felt in regards to the whole Oscars situation. If y'all don't know, a couple years ago, he was supposed to host the Oscars, but then people had a problem with his stand-up back in the day. I believe, because I think I know specifically what stand-up they're talking about. I believe he was talking about like, like if I seen my son was gay or something, like I'd like bash something over his head. I don't know if he said like I seen him playing with dolls or something like that, and I took it and I broke it or something like that. And a lot of people thought that was like insensitive. And so he said that he wasn't going to apologize for that again because he had already apologized, which we'll get to in a second. So we're just going to go through a few things, right? Let me talk about the article for a second. So one of the main things that's being said is cancel culture doesn't really exist. I would have to agree to a degree. A lot of the people that are quote unquote canceled, which is, there's not too many people that are actually really truly like, okay, we're done, we're not fucking with you anymore. Cancel culture is people being upset for all of a couple days, maybe a couple months or whatever, acting like they're upset online, but in real life not really holding to it. That to me is what cancel culture is. It is the culture of being upset online to be upset online, but in real life, not really sticking by anything that you're truly upset about. That's what, to me, cancel culture is about, okay? And a lot of people are saying, I don't understand how can you say pretty much that you don't agree with cancel culture and all of this when you've never been canceled? We start off this article with talking about how much money you're worth, how you're worth over $200 million. You're the highest whatever grossing comedian of all time, more than Jerry Seinfeld, all of this other shit, right? So that part I agree with. I don't understand, because he said in the article, I've been canceled 2 to 3 to 4 times. How have you been canceled when you're still able to make as much money as you are? Do you get what I'm saying? So it doesn't really make sense to me. What stood out to me is the fact that he says multiple times throughout this article that he doesn't care about, people. Actually, I want to get him right, because he said it at the very end. He said, if there's a message from anything I've said, he concludes, it's that in the world of opinion, it's okay to just disagree. It's okay to not like what someone did and to say that person wasn't for me. We are so caught up in everybody feeling like they have to be right and their way is the only way. So I'm confused on how you ended the damn article pretty much with that. However, you go on your whole Twitter rant later. And then also earlier in the article, you talk about how you sent somebody who constantly gave you a bad review, sent them an $8,000 bottle of wine or champagne plus a cutout board review or whatever. And the interviewer was like, well, if you don't really care, then why did you do that? Oh, because he constantly has something to say. But I thought you just said it's okay to disagree. This is the thing. Comedy is subjective. It is subjective. It is subjective. What's funny to me may not be funny to you, may not be funny to the next person. I have heard so many people people say way before all of this shit has happened, and we'll go through the timeline of like the kind of, I don't want to say downslide, but the public downslide kind of Kevin Hart. But prior to all of that shit really happened, there's a lot of people who did not find you funny. And I'm not trying to like put this person out here or anything like that, but one of the first people I ever heard say that they did not find find Kevin Hart funny is Kid Fury from The Read. And at the time, I really didn't get it. But because at the time, I found him funny. And again, this is somebody who has found Kevin Hart funny all the way up until maybe his last, which will actually go through the history to me of where he fell off in his stand-ups. But I'll say, for real, Laugh at My Pain was kind of his peak. I don't remember which one was after that. Was it Let Me Explain that was after that? Let Me Explain was okay, but it's like after Let Me Explain, it's just been a complete nosedive. And I think people who are Kevin Hart fans have said, honestly and truly, that the past couple of stand-ups and the past couple of years that Kevin Hart has done has not been good. They have not been funny. And this is coming from people who actually find you funny sometimes, okay? So, back to the whole thing about the Twittering, because I'll get into the whole, like I said, timeline of when he wasn't funny to me. Now, also throughout the article, he talked about how, it's harder for him to do jokes and stuff like that because, of quote unquote cancel culture and how people are so quick to try to tear you down and stuff. Now, people on Twitter were pretty much referencing the conversation that Joe Budden had with Cat Williams, maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. And also the different statements that Dave Chappelle has made on cancel culture and pretty much how comedians have to navigate through that. Cat Williams in particular pretty much said that, as comedians, you have to learn how to change with the times. Something that was okay to be said a couple of years ago might not be okay today, and you don't want to continuously offend someone left and right. Dave Chappelle pretty much said the same thing. So a lot of people's what people were trying to get at, some people on Twitter, was that you got the greats, right? Because you can make more money than Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams, but they are still heralded as greater comedians than you are. And if the greats are pretty much saying, bruh, look, we can do this without, trying to really offend someone, then why can't you do it, pretty much? And I'm not saying I agree with that, but that is people's standpoint. You as a comedian, times change. They evolve. Just like how back in the day, this is something that's talked about all the time. Just like how back in the day, Big Mama's House and if we go back even further, Mrs. Doubtfire, when all of those little movies was going on at the time where men was dressing up as women to make fun of them and stuff like that, that's no longer acceptable today. A Big Mama's House could not come out in 2021. It would not be perceived or received or heralded the same way that it was back in the day. It just wouldn't. You wanna know why? Because times change and you have to learn to change with them. Okay, nobody's saying, and then on top of that, I also agree with people are saying, and the thing about it is, you could still actually go out and say the same fucking jokes that you would that are offensive as hell, and trust me, you got more than enough fans and fan base at this point that somebody will still watch, somebody will still jump up and defend you. So, do what the fuck you want to do. You can't. This is my personal problem with Kevin Hart. You say that you don't give a fuck about what people say, but you obviously do. And that's where my issue is coming in. If you don't care, then you don't care. And if you really stick by what you mean when you say it's okay for people to disagree and everybody doesn't have to like you. So I am confused as to why this whole Twitter rant happened. So let's go on to his Twitter rant, okay? This is after people were saying, this is him. He was like, I got time today. The he's not funny slander is the best. This is for you. I have 3 stand-up comedy specials that fall in the top 10 highest grossing comedy specials of all time. 2 of my specials are in the top 3 of all time. I have been the highest grossing comedian in entertainment for years now. I have also been the highest grossing comedian in the box office with over $4 billion in earnings. I have also turned my comedic talent into a place of business and branding and radio and other revenue streams. The hate slander fuels me to do more. You guys are what makes the business fun, because it's not about getting to the top. It's about doing your best to stay to the top. I rarely talk shit. That's a fucking lie. But I felt the need to today. Stop believing the headlines and read the actual articles. I did. You guys fall for the banana and the tailpipe trick every time. J. Cole said it best: if you're laughing at millionaires, then the joke's on you. Now back to regularly scheduled program. And that's exactly why J. Cole people was pissed when you said that, because you may not have meant it that way, because I listened to that whole song, so I know the line that he used after that. But this is why. Because number one, like I said, how can you sit up here and say it's okay to disagree with people and everybody is not for everybody, but at the same time, you want to talk about the he's not funny slander, is old. It's not slander if people really feel that way. People have felt for a while now that you are not that funny. That is not slander. That is a fucking opinion. It's my opinion, Kevin Hart, that the past couple of freaking stand-ups that you have done have not been funny. They have not been funny. That's not slander. And that's coming from somebody I have gone to see. I'm one of the people, since you want to sit up here, and I hate when celebrities do this shit right here. Y'all sit up here and use the public to gain y'all millions, but at the same time, once you get there, want to turn around and tell those same people that helped build you up to kiss your ass and fuck you because I have all of these millions of dollars. Let me tell you something. Just because you are the highest grossing comedian of all time, that does not mean you're the funniest. That doesn't mean you're the funniest. The best example, the example that I have written down for this in particular is Views from Drake, right? This is from a music standpoint. Views, I believe, sold 1.2 or 3.4 million in its first week, right, for Drake, which I believe was his highest selling week of his career, right, as far as like a opening week for his album. But do you also know that Views within Drake's discography is ranked very fucking low? Do you know that? So just because he sold that much, do you want to know why? At the time, Drake sold that much because the interest in him was at an all-time high. So you want to know why you constantly get things, Kevin Hart? It's because although me personally, right, the last couple stand-ups to me were not funny, I'm still going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you have made me laugh in the past. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt to still go ahead and give you the chance and listen to your next stand-up. But that does not mean that I now find you the funniest, because you're not. Dave Chappelle is way funnier than you. Cat Williams is way funnier than you. Fucking Martin Lawrence is way funnier than you. Eddie Murphy is way funnier than you. All of the people that even you look up to and say are the greats, even though you make more money than them and you have way more money than them, does that put you in a higher standing as far as comedic and comedic timing and being able to be on stage and hold your own? It does not. Because Dave Chappelle has been sitting his ass on fucking stage, not even really like, it's not even really like a stand-up routine. I don't know. It's just like him talking, but it's funny. Like, you can't even do that. So am I supposed to now say that because Dave Chappelle is not ranked? Okay, for instance, am I supposed to say that because maybe Martin Lawrence, right, is not ranked in the top 3 as far as highest grossing comedians of all time, that he's not one of the greatest comedians of all time? Comedy is not one of those things where you can use money to hide it. The same way when it comes to music, you can't use money to hide the quality, because we're talking about the quality of your work, Kevin. We're talking about the quality. You are popular. So no shit, you're going to get a whole bunch of money. No shit, you're going to get a whole bunch of views because you are a popular person. But that does not mean that just because at one point in time, people found you as the funniest man on this earth, that does not mean that that cannot change. And I don't understand how in one breath at the very end you can say it's okay for somebody to not be for you, but at the same time go on a Twitter rant because people are saying they don't find you funny. Obviously, enough people find you funny or interesting enough that, like you said, you're able to make as much money as you are. So again, I am confused. I don't understand how people be having all of this fucking money. If I'm worth $200 million, I don't give a fuck chuck about what y'all have to say. And even if I do, I'm not going back and forth on the internet with you about it. I could care less. But if you're being a true comedian, you really need to listen to what people are saying and take that feedback in and apply it versus being so damn defensive, because that's what it is. You're being defensive as hell. And one of the main reasons the last couple of years I cannot stand Kevin Hart is because this nigga has got a certain amount of money that he feels like nobody can tell him shit anymore. His ego is legit out of control. From the public standpoint, Kevin Hart's ego is out of control right now. And sometimes niggas like that gotta be knocked down a couple pegs and they don't fucking like it. You went from being literally the funniest man that most people found on earth, hilarious, to now at this point, people feel like you're not as funny. And that's not a hating thing. And I'm going to get to it, because I'm going to say from my standpoint, me saying that I don't really find Kevin Hart that funny anymore, it's not a hating thing, because again, I'm somebody who have actually put money into seeing this man. The same person that helped you get those millions of dollars, I'm one of those people. So I am confused. Why is it that it's okay for people to sit up there and help you build up your wealth, but those same people who helped you build up your wealth, now that they have something to say, it's, oh, shut the fuck up, it's fuck y'all, because I got all of this money anyway. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have that money. So if anybody should be able to critique you, it's specifically as a comedian, if anybody has the right to judge you, it's the fucking audience, because we're the one paying to fucking see you. So getting on Twitter and going on this whole rant makes no fucking sense to me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about his movie history, right? Let's go through it. I have never, as funny as I find Kevin Hart, I have never, ever found any of his movies funny. To me, Kevin Hart is always funny in his stand-up. But when it comes to like actual acting, I have never found him funny. The only thing he has ever been funny into me, movie-wise, was Think Like a Man. And that wasn't even his movie. Like, that's not his movie as far as like producing and directing and coming up with the whole concept. He was just in that movie. He was funny in that. But if I go through all of his other fucking movies, like his movies, Ride Along 2, fucking terrible. Get Hard, one of the worst fucking try to be funny movies I have ever seen in my life. Central Intelligence, not funny. Night School, I never find Tiffany Haddish funny. To me, Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart kind of the same people. They're very fucking corny. And the main reason why I do not like, and I think a lot of people do not like your movies, is because, because I have it listed right here, because I really do. I got it. They're corny. The comedy within your movies are corny. It's predictable. The storyline is always predictable. The jokes are always predictable. What's gonna happen next is always fucking predictable. The acting is always terrible across the board. The plot line and the storyline is always terrible. It's always, Kevin Hart, as much money as he has, his movies always come off very amateur. Very amateur, very bootleg, 99-cent, or here $5 DVDs. That's what it gives, because it's not funny. It's not funny. Okay, now let's go through a history of his stand-ups. Okay, where are they at? Because this shit has got, like, it just sent me, because I don't get it, man. I just don't understand, like, all of that damn money, and you're so still freaking pressed over who the fuck cares about what. Like, nobody cares, my guy. All right, so let's get here. We're gonna go through his stand-ups, all right? So, where are we at? Okay, so his first really big one was in 2009. I'm a Grown Little Man, okay? That is the stand-up for Kevin Hart that kind of like really put him, like, on a little traction or whatever. I'm a Grown Little Man. It's hilarious to me. I still watch that to this day. A lot of funny ass moments. That is the let me see. There's a lot of quotables from that damn from that stand-up. That's the ostrich one. That's the the rapper with, he's like, why rappers, when they be rapping, their hands always go up like this? Like, that's that one. So that one, funny, right? Very, 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 very funny. That's 2009. Now listen to the dates that I'm saying. We are in 2021, right? That's 2009 that came out. Then we had Seriously Funny in 2010, which to me, Seriously Funny is his funniest stand-up. for me. That's the one where LeBron and Shaq are in the audience, because that's when they was in Cleveland and stuff like that. That's that one, okay? Hilarious. To me, the funniest one he has. Then in 2011, we have Laugh at My Pain. Now, Laugh at My Pain 2011 is peak Kevin Hart, because that's when it was like a movie. He was literally everywhere during that time, right? 2011, we're in 2021. In 2011 is when Kevin Hart truly hit his peak. He hit his peak something serious. Laugh at My Pain to this day is still quoted. Hilarious. We all know that. We all know that stand-up. Very much so iconic in its own situation, right? Okay, then we move on. In 2013, we have Let Me Explain, okay? Let Me Explain to me was a drop-off from Laugh at My Pain, but it wasn't so ridiculously bad that I was like, oh, fuck him, da-da-da. But it was definitely a drop-off. But you want to know what? I gave him that because that was his peak, right? Laugh at My Pain is his peak, and so eventually he got to start coming down a little bit. So Let Me Explain was not nearly as funny. It was all right, though. It was okay, 2013. Then we have 2015, which is What Now? What Now 2015. Compared to Let Me Explain, What Now is another drop-off, okay? So this is Laugh at My Pain, right? This is Let Me Explain. This is What Now, okay? Then what was after that? And that's when he like went to the wait, is What Now the one that he did in on Netflix? Because it say What Now, that's the one where he did the he was in the arenas. Actually, What Now I think was his worst one. Actually, let me see. What Now stand up. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, because I got to make sure I got this right. Kevin Hart stand up with Netflix. Because which one was real bad? Which one was terrible? Hold on. Was it What Now? I don't think it was What Now. I think it was another one. Is that what it is? No. Okay, yeah, so that's What Now, right? And then the one after that was, I believe, was Irresponsible, right? Is that right? Is it Irresponsible? Hold on. Okay. Irresponsible 2017. Was it 2009? No, 2019 was literally Kevin Hart's worst fucking stand-up. And I ask anybody who's a true Kevin Hart fan, or if you watched that, when that shit came out, it had terrible reviews. That's not because people are hating, but that is literally, like I said, on your downslope. Laugh at My Pain. Let Me Explain. What Now? And then Irresponsible is at the Irresponsible was fucking terrible. That was it. It was so bad. Me and my boyfriend was pissed because we literally stayed up to 3 a.m. on the East Coast for it to come out. Do you know how fast we fell asleep? That shit was so bad. It was not funny. It was cringeworthy. This nigga was literally telling the same jokes over and over. He was extending jokes out for like 10 fucking minutes. What was that one joke he kept doing? I don't know, but it was like something where he kept finding something. I've only seen the stand-up like maybe once or twice, because the first time I fell asleep. The second time I was like, I watched it and I said, never the fuck again. Never again. So that's that. And then the most recent one that you did was a tad bit better than that, but it still wasn't what we know you to be funny for. So what I'm saying is that we are in 2021. Kevin Hart's funniest stand-up in his like really funniest stand-up was Laugh at My Pain, which was 2011. That was 10 fucking years ago. I think it's fair, okay, for people to say that since from 10 years ago to now, you might have fell off. And you want to know what? That is okay. That's okay. It is okay. Kevin Hart feels the need to constantly prove himself. And you're not going to be funny to everybody. You're never going to be funny to everybody. But what I wish that he would do, instead of you walking around talking about it's slander because people are hating, why don't you take in what the fans are saying? We are telling you, and this is as a fan, we are telling you, Kevin Hart, as a fan, your stand-ups as of recently have not been that funny. They have been extremely corny. They have been very much so white people jokes. Very much so white people, rich white people funny. That's the type of funny that you're giving. It is not funny anymore to us. It is no longer funny. You have to get back in the lab and figure out what you conjured up back then. Figure it out again. Because what you're doing now, everything that you do at this point, especially in your stand-ups, which I can deal with it in your movies because I don't have to watch that. But in your stand-ups, you come off extremely corny. Your physical comedy, which is part of what you do, is starting to be a little bit outlandish. It's not funny anymore. Okay? Not that. Now, like I said, I can absolutely deal with his last stand-up. 10 times more than I can with the one before that. The one before that, that was abysmal. I didn't laugh one time. So you said that you fail at your job as a comedian if you don't make people laugh. So when people are telling you that you didn't make them laugh, don't turn around and say, well, I don't got to make you laugh. I got all of this money, this is that, and third. Well, you won't be able to continuously have that money or gain more if we as an audience don't find you funny anymore. Please remember, the same people that built you up are the same people that can tear you down. So please, humble thyself, cut the Napoleon fucking complex that you got, and bring it down a couple notches. That's all I got. I'm out. Bye.